Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
I've been running from 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tammy Nation this evening. I came on to cover a couple things that I found out today, and Trump's presser that he did. And oh my gosh, I don't have my reading glasses on. Sorry, those are my sunglasses. Anyhow, so I thought he decided to pop on and just cover some things that I found out in his presser, and an article that I found interesting in Gateway Pundit, which we knew this was coming, but it's here. So the first thing I want to cover is I did go to a meeting today. I had said that earlier when I did a show. And I want to encourage everybody to try to attend a meeting in your area, your vicinity, because I always say you learn a lot. You can sit and listen. You don't have to do anything but listen, which is mostly what I do, because I am learning the ropes of the behind the scenes and how politics work on a local level. Hey, Lily J, good to see you. And it's been very fascinating and interesting. And I will tell you, it is very, very draining. These people who are at it like full-time jobs, whether they volunteer or they work, either way, they're spending many, many hours a week, 40 plus hours a week to get things done, straightened out, so we can have fair elections and honest candidates that run. And today, some of the things I found out, it's troubling. It's exhausting in the fact that there's a lot of people that are out there that are afraid to get involved because the threat on people and their families is very real. And it doesn't just happen in the higher ups, in the presidential level or a Congress level. It does happen in a local level too. And I heard some horrible stories of personal threats on people for exposing things or whatnot. And it was very scary. And so as a result of that, there's a lot of people that don't want to get involved. They don't want their families involved and the like of that. And you know what? This country shouldn't be that way. It made me very sad today because it's real. These people are some elected officials that I spoke with today in this meeting. And some of the stories they had were pretty incredible. And also, the thing that's out there on a local level that I find out, and like I said, this may not be everywhere, but we see a lot of the different things that go on across the country, and I have a feeling it is more rampant than not. But there's a lot of people that get elected to the seats that are participants in their party at these meetings and different event centers and the goings on that they hold, right? They will be very involved until they get elected. Once they get elected, they stop participating in that. And, obviously, once they're elected, they're very busy. They have a lot of policies to take care of. They have a lot of things to do for their cities. They have a lot of meetings to attend, and we know how busy they are, but they become invisible at the local level per se when it comes to these different events, or the very people that supported them and elected them. They kind of disappear from radar. And so what I found out today is there's a lot of them in my area that apparently that's happening with, and these people are figuring out a way to hold them accountable. There's talk of it, but what happens is there's not enough hands and there's not enough people involved to be able to handle everything thoroughly and sufficiently. And that's why I've always said for a very long time, it doesn't matter how much you know or how much you don't know. Getting involved is what's crucial to being able to make a difference and a change in your area, whether it's phone calls, door-to-door knocking. Sometimes it's just printing up pamphlets. I mean, there's many, many different ways to be involved, and you don't have to put your face out there either, because like I said, there's a lot of people that don't want to because they're fearful, and it shouldn't be that way. But the reality is, it is, even on a very local level. A lot of these constituents and stuff have said one thing too, and they got voted in, and then they continue to have meetings and gatherings. But then when a vote finally comes through to pass or not pass certain things, whether it be let's say a splash center for the community, or it's a different policy they want to hold up or not, these people who are elected, I'm finding out, are saying, yeah, I'm for you behind the scenes, I agree with you. And then when it comes to the vote, they totally change their mind and they flip their vote, and right in the faces of the very people that would door-to-door knock and help get them elected. So that is very frustrating and draining just for me to even hear it. But these people that are really embedded in this, I got to give them a lot of credit, because they're average people like you and me, and they are really working hard, fighting the good fight to get things straightened out and cleared out as much as possible. But, at one point it seemed like we're a bunch of little fish going against the shark machine at the very top, right? But how we make a difference is by getting involved, by making the phone calls, by holding people accountable. And when I say holding them accountable, I mean at the local level. Your representatives should know your name, face, and how you feel about things. They should be willing to engage in conversation with you. And if they aren't, then vote them out the next time, the next go around. Because what we're finding is a lot of people aren't educated on different people. They believe what the press says, or they may like their personality if they've ran across them once or twice, and so they'll vote for them again. There is somebody that is very prominent in my area that is really a bad person. And there are some people, because of what Trump said about this person, they received a lot of phone calls in the party that were saying Trump needs to temper his emotions. He needs to temper what he says about this person. He needs to pull back the reins on it. When in reality, everything so far DJ Chia said has come true. And what he says about people, especially when he puts them to the forefront, there's a reason for it. So like the way he does it or not, he puts it out there. Hey, Mike. And it's very true. The guy that I'm talking about has been under scrutiny a lot in this area. And the people that I talked to today are saying, yeah, he's a very bad person. And I'm like, well, how does he keep getting in? Well, that's where you follow the money. And it's very true. So like I said, on a local level, you can find out a lot, even if you don't want to get involved and you don't want to come on the air like I do and talk about it. I have to be vague about it because I can't give out names at this point, but you can figure it out because there is safety involved. When I found out some of the details of the stories that people had today, I was baffled. I was like, this is really true. This is not a game, that there are power players out there that have money and power that they don't want to give up, and they will do anything to not give it up. But like I said, the people that are in this fight are average people like you and me. And a lot of them are older. They are looking for younger people. I could say a lot of the people that I ran across today were 65 plus, and they've been fighting this a long time. A lot of them are veterans and such, and they're fatigued, but we need more hands, we need more people. So that was just very eye-opening for me today and very disappointing. And that ties into also, if you guys have heard, in July, the Dems and the Senate blocked the SAVE Act. And there were 198 Dems that blocked that. And that act, all that was going to do was maintain that illegals were not allowed to register to vote in our elections. And they turned that down. They did not let that pass. So we were talking about that today in this meeting. And I said, anybody in their right mind, no matter what side they're on or who they are, if they're all for honest, true elections, why wouldn't they want to go to paper ballots? Why wouldn't they want to go to ID? And why would they not want illegals to vote? Just have U.S. citizens vote. I said, because obviously it's very shady. Obviously it's on both sides. And because they all want to buy votes, they want to pay people to vote. You know, I've heard all kinds of stories today about the different avenues these people go to get a vote. And there were a lot of voter rolls that are still a mess and still going on. And actually, a bit of good news that just broke yesterday was the chairman wanted to shut this down, but there are 17,852 missing ballot images, 3,930 duplicates, missing documentation for 10 mystery tabulators, all referred to the AG office for further investigation by outside investigators here in Georgia. And the chairman did try to stop it. So I know that you guys are fatigued about hearing about, oh, there was no fraud or it wasn't as bad as we thought. It is still going on, but that was a turn of good events as far as what's happening in Georgia. And I know in Arizona, they passed where you have to have ID in there. And I said today, you know, to these people, I said, it seems like we're fighting like the smaller battle, like how do we, after this bad stuff happens, how do we try to prevent that again on a smaller level? And I said, we have to think bigger and go bigger. The people that say they're going to do something and they don't do it, we need to change the people that butts are in those seats, because we can't allow them to get away with it. So that's part of what they are working on now. The people that they voted in and we voted in that aren't showing up to events, that aren't representing us, they're going to hold them accountable. They're going to have an executive meeting with these people and hold them accountable. And that's how we make the difference. And that's how we are making the change. And we're going on for, yeah, I know, Mike, we really are. And that was what was really troubling today. And the whole threat on people and their families, the stories that I heard today, that devastated me. I could not believe that. It's serious. And it's not, like I said, just for the higher ups. It's for local people and school board people, you know, city council. It goes on. And there's all these different intricate webs that they have woven together. And it's like, if you don't do what they say, they will get rid of you. I heard them today talking about different maneuvers that so-called people in the representation that we have here have teamed together and got rid of people. I mean, off boards and things like that. I don't mean unaliving, but it's the threat that's real. It is real. And so now I know why my friend who drugged me into this said, you be the face. I want to stay behind the scenes. But you know, there's got to be people that are willing to show their face. There's got to be people behind the scenes. It takes everybody to get involved. It takes everybody. So whatever level you're comfortable with, even if you go a little uncomfortable in what you do, that is a good thing, because otherwise we're doomed. We are doomed. And coming up for this 2024 in November, you know, one of the people said today, well, we can't call this man out. He said he may be a rat, but we can't call him out till after November 7th. And we can't add any more division in here. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, don't let him get away with it anymore. So I had to pull the reins back on myself a little bit, because like I said, I have to watch it because I don't know the whole workings. I'm there learning. These people all know it a lot more detailed than me because they've been in it for very long. And I respect a lot of these people because they're hardworking, they're honest, they're trying to make a difference. We had a Spanish lady there that was talking about how do we get more Spanish and Mexican people involved. They feel like they're fearful. They feel like they're going to be rejected if they come to these meetings. And so basically there's a lot of different levels of fixing we need to do, growing we need to do, inclusiveness we need to achieve. And it's just it's a long, hard battle. And Michael, stop it. I know that you tell me that all the time, and you're real. It's for real. Well, as long as they have glitter on them, I guess, on my boots, then I'll be happy. But I'm not going to stop, because I see these people that are like my grandparents that are fighting hard. These people like wave signs and flags and hit the doors, door knocking. One guy, he's like 72 years old, a vet, and he was making 120 some phone calls. And, the good news is he said that ever since Trump came here to his last rally, that something changed, that instead of people saying, I'm not talking to you and hanging up, what they're doing is they're having conversation and saying, yes, I want to be involved. Yes, how can I make a difference? This is the time that I have. This is what I'm willing to do. And so that was very, very upbeat, let's just say, because it's going to take more than the 20, 30, 40 people that we have that we meet doing something. And so it's about talking to friends, getting friends involved. I am the captain of my precinct area here. I got a lot that I'm going to be doing coming up soon, but I have people above me telling me what to do and how to do it because I have no clue. So just pray for me. I don't mind a door slammed in my face here and there. I don't mind people calling me names, but anything further than that, I don't want it to get physical. So just keep me in your thoughts and prayers, you guys. I know, Mike. And the other thing I wanted to cover was, let me see, Trump today in his presser. I got to catch some of it, but not a lot of it because I just got in from the meeting and stuff. But what I wanted to make note of the presser he just gave, he gave a 1 hour unscripted presser. The man took questions from anyone and everyone, just boom, 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 boom. Give it to me, and he's given answers. You know, Kamala has not done a presser. Kamala hasn't talked to anybody. And I just put also, look on my YouTube page, I put a video up, JD Vance. JD Vance was a major troll. And that's why I started off this show with the picture of a chessboard. JD Vance was on the tarmac, I think it was Wisconsin. And the Air Force Two, Kamala's plane was there, right? And he walks up, he's over on the side, the plane's like, let's say here, he's over here, and he comes walking up to the press, and he says, I figured I'd come and entertain you guys and ask you some questions because you look lonely over here because Kamala's not answering any questions. And he says, plus I want to get a look. I'm more interested in the plane because hopefully that plane will be mine in a few months. And I started laughing. So I put the video up there because it's really true. And as he's talking to the press, Kamala comes out and her motorcade starts pulling away. And I thought that was really poignant. He's trolling Kamala while her motorcade's pulling behind him. So I did put that up on my page because I thought that was very funny. Also, it was very surprising because Trump says, you know, I'm no fan of Joe, you know that, or his policies. That's obvious. He said, but they basically took that away from Biden being able to run again. He said, no votes, nothing. They just put Kamala in there. So my question is to the people that supposedly support Kamala or on that side, how do you feel about that you didn't get a vote? Hey, Chris Gilbert, good to see you. Mike, stop. I am not the captain of the Titanic. But they were saying that she got put out there, and Trump was like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about saying that we are a threat to democracy, but you just put somebody in there? You replaced a sitting president. She's out there everywhere now. Where's Biden? He's not around very much. She's out there going along. And the guy she picked, Waltz, I think is his name, as the VP run. Take a look into his background. Is that who you guys really want as a VP? Is that who you want? That man is all about transgender, all about radicalism, all kinds of nasty, nasty stuff. The man lies, the man cheats. It's all kinds of stuff that is bad news. So he was talking about that and said, you know what? We have a constitution, and they just totally bypassed it, that they took all the votes, not one vote. He goes, as Joe supposedly had 14 million votes. And he goes, here's Kamala. She gets in position without one vote. And that is the threat to democracy right there. So I thought that was really good of him to speak on that and be truthful about that. And another interesting thing from my meeting today is apparently because of the way Trump talks and the way he's been going hardball language at some of the people here in my state, but people in general, the actual call center for the Republican Party were receiving calls, and the people were upset because Trump was using harsher language. And I thought to myself, you know what? Sometimes you need to have the harsh language. Sometimes you can't be the nice person. Sometimes you just need to stand up for what's right. And if it has to be loud and it has to be direct to shake you awake, then it needs to be done. You don't have to like his personality. You're not voting for a personality. You're voting for policies. Do you agree with the morals, values, and policies that he set in place, that he wants? And you look at the other side and you see what they are. They're not about morals and values or standards at all. It's a free-for-all. They want to keep the open borders. And if you remember, also, Kamala made a video and she said, we're coming after you, Trump supporters. This was back in the day, like 2020 or something. And she said, we're coming after you. Is that who you want as your president? Really? that the minute that you don't agree with her, she's going to come after you, or she's going to send the goons after you. It's just so ridiculous anymore. The other thing that Trump talked about, which I thought was pretty cool, is the debates. He said so far they've got 3 pretty much locked in coming up. And he said September 5th or 4th, they're going to be with Fox, September 10th, NBC, and then September 25th on ABC. And he said they have most of the details locked in. There's some fine little things, details, minor details that they have to work out. But he said that he's pretty sure that they're going to get through with that. He goes, we'll see who I'm going to be debating against. He really didn't say Kamala very much because he believes, and he has said out there, that there is going to be revival to bring Joe back because of them taking everything away from him. And he was saying that he is mad, and why shouldn't he be mad? That they told him, if you didn't back down, we're going to pull the 25th on you. And apparently he's mad. So we'll have to see what happens with all that. That was just him saying that. But like I said, Trump really hasn't been wrong in much of anything that he has said. He warned us about. Like him or not, you guys, like him or not, whether you believe he's good or not, whether you believe everybody's bad, he's the only one that is at least telling us what we want to hear as far as our livelihoods, keeping stuff here in America, putting God back into our lives, families, freedom, all that. I mean, you got to figure the other side is totally not talking about any of that. They want inclusion of everyone and everything in a free-for-all. The VP that Kamala picked doesn't want the borders closed. They want them to stay open. And the thing is, do you really feel safe when they say, you know what, we have open borders, there's nothing to worry about, people are entitled to come here? What do we do each and every night? We lock our doors. What are these people that, like Kamala, like the president, what do they do for security? They have people around them all the time with weapons, don't they? So if we lock the doors at night because the world's not safe and we don't feel free enough to open the doors and leave them unlocked, what do you think is going to happen if we keep the borders open? The amount of people that are already here, the millions upon millions of people, it is not innocent families that just want a sense of freedom or jobs. We've seen that over and over again. So now here it comes to November, and you've got Kamala running, and she is the border czar. She was named the border czar. We know she hasn't done nothing about it. Do you really want her running this country? And that's what you have to ask yourself. You have to get over the hating Trump and his mean tweets and that he's an orange man, bad man. You have to get over the way he talks. It's the policies that matter. Policies matter, not people's looks, not whether she cackles and he says bad things. It's about what are their policies, because their policies are what affect you and I. Their personalities don't affect us in our families, in our homes. It is their policies. So like I said, it was an eye-opener today for me. It was kind of scary, to tell you the truth, but it just makes me more entrenched in wanting to help, because when you look at the people that are trying to help us and save this country, like I said, it's moms and dads, it's grandparents, it's people who have served our country, and it's an incredible, amazing group of people. And then the last thing that I wanted to cover was this article in Gateway Pundit, because the chief of WHO is having an emergency meeting of experts to decide if monkeypox, the outbreak, warrants the highest level of international health alert. So we talked about the monkeypox a while ago, and that was supposedly out of control and then back in control. We haven't heard word of it. But they're saying that now, in light of the spread of monkeypox outside of the Congo and the potential for further international spread within and outside of Africa, I've decided to convene an emergency committee under the international health regulations to advise me on whether the outbreak represents a public health emergency of international concern. The committee is going to meet as soon as possible and will be made up of independent experts from a range of relevant disciplines from around the world. So, according to this news release, they're saying that monkeypox is an endemic in Central and West Africa, and it can be transmitted through physical contact with infected individuals or contaminated materials. And some of the symptoms include skin rashes, fever, muscle aches, and swollen lymph nodes. So it did gain a lot of attention, obviously, with the sickness from before 2 years ago, but supposedly it was under control by May of 2023. But now they're saying that there has been over 14,000 cases reported this year alone. But some of the responses online from this meeting and from this so-called threat that the WHO is saying that may be out there cracked me up, because people can be very funny sometimes, even in the most serious of situations. People just get fed up, and instead of getting mad, you have to laugh. Sometimes you got to laugh so you don't cry. But it says, "You are the threat to public health, you insufferable tyrant." And this was to the WHO director who was talking about having this emergency meeting. Another comment from a person said, "Give it up, dude. We're definitely not going to do any of that again." And then also it talks about, why don't you ever talk about the 40% rise in all-cause mortality worldwide? Why don't you ever mention the 35 million who've died after getting your mandated gene therapies? Seems like that represents a public health emergency of international concern. So these are some of the comments, and that gave me hope in the fact that people are a little bit more awake, and they aren't going to be believing in this, that should this come around. And hopefully we've wised up a little, because we all were talking about this, that come election season, election year, they're going to come up with something. And here it is. This came out yesterday, was it, on Gateway Pundit, about monkeypox? No, it was actually today at 9:45 a.m. This is when it came out. So hopefully you guys, and we don't buy into that. I think we learned a long, hard lesson about the last go around that we had, about how wrong they were, how wrong we were, and how our freedoms are so important. We should have the freedom to choose what we do with our health and how we want it handled through our health professionals. Health professionals should not be told to do things one way and that's it. We should have the freedom of choice to accept the therapies and the treatments that we want. And with this monkeypox coming around, again, should it come down, I'm hoping that people, like I said, have learned and grown wiser. And we have seen some of the results of what happened with the last go around with getting these experimental things. You look at the data, I don't know that it's a pleasant look at the data and what kind of causes of situations people are having, symptoms when it comes to their heart, to their blood, and the things going on. Then when it was forced for us to either take it or we were supposed to all be unalived by now. So let's put that in perspective, because all of us that didn't get it, we're supposed to be not even breathing anymore. And I don't think there's one person out there that didn't get any of those that regrets it. But unfortunately and sadly, there's a lot of people out there that did get it, and they kept getting it, and they do regret that. And that's very sad to me. It's nothing to gloat about, but it's something that we need to be wise, and we need to be caring about, and we need to not be so judgmental of one another anymore, because that was hell to go through. Families and friends, it was hell. And if you were the one that stood different than the family, that was very hard. And that took a lot of emotional toll and mental toll on a lot of people. And let's not let that happen again. Let's not do that. So that's what I have. It was just a quick little pop on you guys, because I just felt it was important to cover that and try to encourage people to just attend the meetings, even if you only do 1 or 2 in your area, just so you know firsthand what's going on, just so you can see these people face to face, so you can ask questions of people that are in the computers, that know the breakdown, that are the computer experts that run all these tallies and see all this, people that go to the RNC, people that go to these national meetings or these different conventions that have knowledge. You're not reading it from somebody else, or you're not thinking it's always happening out there. Get to know the person face to face that actually handles this, and you will learn so much. I promise you. And you will be more filled of knowledge. You'll be full of more determination, because you will see people face to face that are fighting to keep this country the great country she is and she deserves to be. So with that, I am out for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.